Hello and welcome to Emerging Aurora's Off the Cuff, the podcast that brings you the inspiring stories behind the local businesses driving the local community forward and upward. I'm your host, Vern Cunningham, and today we will be speaking to one of Aurora's major employers and a good friend of mine. This podcast is for those who want to know more about our local entrepreneurs and want a little peek into what makes our economy so vibrant. Our guest today is Stewart McLaren, the president of Almac Industrial Systems and McLaren Doors. Welcome, Stewart.
Thank you, Vern. How are you since this morning?
I am well. I've had a busy day.
You have?
We went out to East Gwillimbury after breakfast this morning, Brian and I,
Right.
and to repair a wind phone that we thought was damaged, but it had been vandalized.
Oh.
So we had to take it in, and we're going to have to replace it. So
Oh.
it's a shame that someone that brings so much joy to
Yeah.
people that are grieving would be damaged like that. But
Yeah.
it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay, let's start with your story.
Oh,
Very important.
okay.
That's what we're here for, Stu.
all right.
What's the background of Almac and Aurora, and how has the town shaped your journey?
Well, Almac came to Aurora in 1996. We relocated from Scarborough. And it was a kind of a marriage with a company that was here. So that kind of helped shape us. Because the company that was here, we were doing work with them, and they were up-and-comers General Conveyor. So between the two companies, we aligned and started moving in the same direction and worked together closely for a good 10, 15 years, and it was great. Aurora's kind of got that middle ground. It's we could draw from a radius of 50 kilometers and get every kind of worker and engineer and tech person you'd want. And I found that the business community and the chamber at that time was extremely strong and efficient. And, you had draws from the big employers, and the people in town were very enthusiastic and welcoming, so it was really nice.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
great town. I moved up here as well and had a business here, and I thought it was, same as you, a great environment for businesses to grow and to prosper. How many employees do you currently have, Stu?
We're about 35, so you had the term major employer. I wouldn't say we're a major employer. We're kind of a medium-sized employer, I guess, but we have a wide range of employees, from the office and administration staff to engineers, both mechanical and electrical, to skilled technicians and everyone in between. So that's why I said the diversity of drawing from the area around here is good. So you get people that are more urban and they can come up this way, reverse flow, and there's people that are more rural and they can come down to work here also.
Yeah, a great combination, isn't it?
Perfect.
Okay, from what I understand, Almac develops engineered solutions to material handling requirements. Can you take us through this process?
We're more on the heavy end, and we're in the back end of things. This is where people don't see what goes on in plants and factories, so there's a lot of things that goes on inside them. And we would move product through the plant through various functions and things that need to be done to the person or equipment. For example, we work in a steel mill, so the big rolls of steel, we'll move those onto machines. They weigh up to 80,000 pounds.
Wow.
Then they uncoil the steel and they cut sheets to certain lengths, so it's called cut length line, and we'll stack those and stack them up to 10, 20,000 pounds. Along with that, we work in car factories. We build like the place where you see the people moving with the car. And we work on assembly lines with, not assembly lines, but little robotic cells where some people put things together. So we're a diverse set of customers and equipment, so it's all engineered and built to order. So it's like everyone gets a custom-made suit. And our niche is in the mass sterilization, which is a very specific thing, and people don't really realize how much we rely on that, especially through the pandemic. We were an essential service, so the equipment that they use to sterilize your garments, all your medical syringes, needles, and your latex gloves and your knee and hip is all sterilized by the hundreds of thousands of pounds daily.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and all over the world. So we have 2 techs right now working in Vietnam.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, they're installing equipment that we built for a company out of Ottawa. So Canada's a world leader in that.
Well, that's excellent. It's nice to know that all your business is not going to the United States, that you're doing it for other places with everything that's happening down there these days.
Yeah, it is insane right now.
Yeah.
And uncertainty, and it's really kind of shut off the tap on a lot of projects.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. You know, it's funny. I've been reading articles lately that obviously is shouting out the talents in Canada and what Canada has to offer. And it's quite amazing the technology advantages Canadian companies have.
Yeah, we're underestimated, and we don't toot our own horn very much. But Canada, and I've been in this for 40 years, so I remember through all the plants in Canada and Ontario. But we're very adaptable and flexible. I think a friend of mine used to run Christie Cookies, and he said the Christie plant in Chicago would have 5 ovens running Oreos. And he says my plant used to be down Lakeshore, the big Christie Tower, water tower. It'd have 5 lines running 5 different products, and they change the products 5 times a week.
Wow.
So because our market was smaller, we're more nimble. So Canadians are very good that way.
Yeah, very flexible. Right?
Yeah. So it's a shame we don't realize that sometimes.
Yeah, and the thing is too is I think when you live close to the elephant, you kind of lose an identity, and you think that you're not as good as the elephant. And the technology or the skill sets we have in this country, some of it is world class. A lot of it is world class. You know, the sterilization that you mentioned, for example. I would imagine not a lot of companies do that in the world, do they?
No, there's 5 types of sterilization, or 4, I should say. There's boiling water and sterilized things. But yeah, Canada, and I have theories on why it happened. It's a nuclear source that they use from Canada, and I think we were kind of told you're going to make medicine, not bombs, or something like that after the war.
Yeah.
So I think we were kind of told what we were going to do, but we got very good at it. Like X-ray machines were developed here, and radioisotopes for cancer treatment were developed up in Ottawa and Deep River and those places. So yeah, we're second to none in that industry. I think we have a big problem in Canada, though. We don't protect our IP very well. I think we thought we could have just, the old saying, hewers of wood and drawers of water, but we manufacture stuff. We don't protect our intellectual property and I guess monetize it the way we should.
Yeah, well, as you know, I have a number of patents myself, and I think that's a whole topic we could get into that we would never find a solution to that. But you're only as good as your ability to defend a patent. And unfortunately, that is always very difficult.
Yeah, I think there's some low-hanging fruit we don't get. Like there's, our universities are full of PhDs and things that we've graduated and paid for through taxpayer monies and the universities get sponsored by some large U.S. corporation. They just kind of take the property away.
Yes.
Before we don't have to commercialize it, but we have to get a royalty for that work we do.
Yes.
So when Apple comes or Microsoft or Uber says, well, that little thing we sponsored and paid for in your university is now ready to be commercialized, we should say, okay, well, yeah, here you can have it, but we want a percentage.
We want a piece of the action.
Yeah, I want a piece of it. Good. Yeah. Best way to put it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think we're getting more wise as time goes on, but it takes time. I think the situation in the United States now should help Canadians become a lot more global in their outlook and in their sales as well.
Yeah, and I think I get to travel a lot to different places, and it was just in Europe. But we talked about that, but it's comfortable to go across the border within 500
it's
miles.
Easier. Yeah.
You've got people who speak the same language, basically have the same trucking industries. That logistics is easier. So yeah, but you can go further afield, and we have people that install equipment elsewhere, but Europeans are very much the same as us, and they're easy to do business with. We just had a person from Italy in our plant this week coming to ask about us to build stuff for them over here.
Okay.
Because they want access to the market south of us in North America. But I guess we'd be kind of a well-educated, diverse manufacture that they need, and we can access the border with limited tariff.
Yeah. And that's the good thing about it. Those kind of partnerships are what everyone wins in those kind of things. They win because they can sell more product. You win because you're making something for a partner that could become a partner in other parts of the world as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it's you can't lose with those kind of collaborative arrangements.
No.
Okay. Aurora
Aurora.
has a unique community feel. What's something about the local culture or people that helps you prosper?
I was talking about when I got here to Lynette, saying that when I first came to Aurora, there was the light where at Dunning and Young Street, and at 7 o'clock at night it just started to flash amber. Because it was a smaller community, still had that old feel. But what Aurora had that I didn't realize was this strong background, like of manufacturing and like Sisman shoes and Cousins
Sterling
Dairy, Drugs, and the old ones back to the Flurry Plow, which I was, honored to be on the 150 committee and got to sit on the floor with the Flurry Plow, which was, you read the history on it, was a major thing across Canada back when it was in the 1800s. So it had a strong sense of diversity, because a lot of them are just agricultural crossroads, and this wasn't, and the Queens York Rangers. So there was this kind of, that I found, not kind of, there was this sense of place, of we have a history here, we're something, or something that's of consequence. So the people that gather around those things are quite interesting too. So that's what I enjoyed, and the pride in the community. There was a great pride in the community of Aurora. There's a lot of affluence here too because of the countryside and proximity to Toronto, which when I met people, they found their degree of education and their engagement was really high. So you're talking to people, and it was a very self-contained community with a very high level of participation by the citizens. Which makes for a great place.
It is, and you know what? I was telling another business owner recently that we're all kind of a big happy family, and then she mentioned Bunchberry, and I mentioned Donna, and she just got so excited because she knows Donna very well too, and Donna is one of these people that welcomes you with open arms and is really more a family member than a waitress or a server, and everybody loves Donna. And that's Aurora. Aurora is made up of a lot of people like Donna.
Yeah, but there's a challenge to that too. We've grown so much in the last few years, is retaining that town perspective, or pride in town, as opposed to being just a place where a suburb of Toronto, and engaging the newcomers and getting them involved in the other parts of being a member of Aurora, like community service and service groups and sports and all those things, and help to build a community. And people like myself and you, we have to reach out to those people and go and visit.
Absolutely.
And do some work there.
But generally we do in our own different ways. Obviously we have to make a living doing what we do, but the new people that have come into Aurora and have assimilated have generally all been welcomed, and they all feel like this is a nice place to be, which we're very fortunate to have that.
Oh, yeah. No question.
So, okay. Challenges. We all have challenges. I used to have a lot of them, and I'm sure you do too, is what's been the most surprising challenge that you faced, and how did you overcome it? That's a big one, right?
No, there's all the challenge. I'm trying to think of in business, you mean? Like just in business? Well, it's pretty challenging right now. Let's say this is one of every 10 years or so you get this big challenge. COVID was an anomaly. The biggest challenge I have is not worrying.
Is what?
Is not worrying. Trying not to worry. Thinking it'll be okay in the end if you don't, because I'm past the stage now where the world keeps turning, and the biggest challenge we have right now is getting people to turn off the negative and just control what they can control. Especially right now, we can't control the crazy man in the White House.
Correct.
But we can control our own neighborhood, our own people, our own things like that in our work environment. So that's the biggest thing. I'm not trying to solve all the world problems. Just try to control what we can and be happy and do your best every day.
Well, that's why, and you and I have spoken about this on numerous occasions. The answer is not always to react to an injustice that's being done to us in the same way. For example, imposing tariffs on our own people because somebody else has imposed tariff on us, is to work a little bit smarter than that and look at it and say, okay, how can we work around this thing for the benefit of the people in our country and ourselves? And I think Canadians have the intelligence to do that quite effectively.
I think so. I think one thing I heard a comment the other day by someone, and actually it was David from about politics in Canada. The thing about politics in Canada is, as opposed to our lovely cousins to the south, is the parties will steal the other party's good ideas.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in the United States, no, we would never do that. We'd never, because that wasn't our idea. It wasn't in our platform. Yeah. So therefore, I think it makes it tough to run a party because you'll take their person's ideas. But
here's the difference, I think, Stu, is that we'll be voting soon.
Right.
And we have a card that says we're an eligible voter. But when we go into the voting stations or whatever, we have to show identification to say we are who's on that thing, which is not a bad thing. My understanding is the Republicans in the states wanted to do that, but the Democrats felt it was an intrusion on their privacy rights.
All right.
And you look at that and you say, just because the Republicans want to do it doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
And, if you can make sure that the people voting are the right people, that's okay. You're not stopping people from voting. All you're doing is making sure that Charlie Brown is Charlie Brown.
Yeah. They won't concede small points.
Yeah, and then they're always fighting over these small points.
Right. It's just to get the news bite or get whatever and say.
Where we'll steal everything from the other party. We don't care.
Well, sometimes we see that's a good idea. Let's use that one.
Yeah. You know what? If it makes the country run better, it's a great way to do it.
It does. Yeah. And if they cooperate between provinces and things like that, is always a good idea.
Okay, you mentioned that when you came up here, you were collaborating with another company, and that worked quite well. Are there other companies in York Region that you could collaborate with?
Yeah, well, that's the one thing about manufacturing. We buy a lot of things, right? So we purchase the company in Newmarket does all of our machining for us, so we're constantly buying from them. So we collaborate quite a bit with them, and they give us some work that way. And then you're buying from your media people, you're buying from your stationery, and you're buying from manufacturing is very good that way. I always say to people, I sign a big stack of checks every week. For
none with my name on it, right?
Well, yours gets put to the bottom of the pile. It's still there. It comes out. I run out of money by the time I get to yours.
I know, sad but true.
It's sad but true. So I do collaborate with these people, and we know who they are, and they're around. So it's really important, and it's great. So I think that's one thing I always say to people about manufacturing is you're dealing with a lot of local people when you're their suppliers, whereas if you're doing software and things like that, no knock against software now, you may buy a couple of nothings. You buy time or pay a transaction fee for a cloud service
and they could be anywhere in the world.
Correct.
Where when you're collaborating with other companies, when you're manufacturing something, you get people as close to home as you can.
Yeah.
So that helps everybody in that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
How do you find that companies just naturally collaborate with other people, or do most of them fight each other all the time and want to?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they collaborate quite a bit. I think we're small enough and diverse enough that we need to collaborate. We haven't got the world wrapped up. So I think you have to a degree, or else you're not going to learn from the other companies. You learn a lot as you go.
Yeah.
And then there's big problems right now, not problems, but there's big opportunities with the succession of businesses. So they got to find ways to collaborate. Maybe we should buy your company, or you should buy our company. And I think Canada's kind of hasn't done well in that realm. A lot of companies been fade away and are bought by U.S. firms and become just a branch plant.
Yeah.
Which isn't good.
Well, I think what happens there is in those scenarios, you lose the innovation that came out of the original owners of the company.
Yeah, and what they do is they buy the innovation, they take the innovation, and even if you're a branch plant, if you design a new system to run, say you're building cars,
Uh-huh.
and the head office is in the U.S., that idea becomes
Yeah.
owned by the U.S. owner.
It moves.
It moves. Yeah.
Which is too bad.
Yeah. But,
Okay, you acquired another company a number of years ago making extruded doors for transport trailers. Can you expand on this enterprise and explain what happened?
As I said earlier, we collaboration, whatever. Part of the thing about being in a town like this is you get to network with a lot of people, and you buy. And you, as an owner of businesses, you should always join some associations or business groups. So, anyways, I was in a business group, and one of the owners of the business group and I were having lunch, and I said, "Oh, I'm tired of this, trying to engineer this Almac automated equipment all the time." So he kind of took that in. He goes, "Oh, yeah." So I was out in Saskatoon. I remember I was in Saskatoon. It was like February. I'd never been to Saskatoon. It was freezing.
In February.
Yeah. So I'm in the hotel room, and he calls me up, and he says, "Stu, I invested in this company, and they make roll-up doors for the back of transport trucks. So you said you wanted something you didn't have to engineer all the time, and well, here it is. Do you want to buy it?"
And you did.
I guess I was noodling on some silly problem for the other company. Yeah, sure. Why not try that? It wasn't much. It wasn't worth much because it was almost at the end of its under the line, right? They were within weeks and weeks of closing up. But it was a Canadian company. It was a patented product, and I went and saw the product, and they had some great ideas, and I liked the design concept. It was new, and so I thought we could turn this around in no time. Well, that doesn't work very well.
Funny how that is.
Yeah, it's funny. There should be no. So it's been a 13-year overnight sensation.
I know. Isn't that great when that happens?
Yeah. I go, really? We owe this people money? Oh, okay. Where did that come from? You made a deal with that guy that goes this way? Oh, okay. Well, we got to clean that up too. So you're mopping up a lot of other people's mess.
Yeah.
But spilled milk, you just got to mop it up and keep going.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And how's it doing now? Is it doing okay?
Great. Yeah, we're coming along. It's been a long haul. It's like, excuse the pun, for truck door, long haul. But it's,
I like these trucking jokes.
Trucking jokes. Keep you rolling.
Yeah.
We roll together. We're getting traction. It's hard. There's only a couple big players in the things. You're trying to knock out these massive companies.
Yeah.
And Melanie, our salesperson, does a great job in that.
I know. She's a
Graydon,
sweetheart. That girl.
Graydon in production manages the crew, and he does an excellent job.
Uh-huh.
And we're not re-engineering it or creating it new every 6 weeks.
Isn't that great? Eh?
It is. It is.
Well, are most of your customers in the U.S. too?
About 25%. We just did the study on it. We had to know where they were.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean our product doesn't end up in the U.S., but about 25% of our doors are shipped directly to the U.S. or parts.
That's not a lot.
No. But we build for a company that we sell basically to people who put the boxes on the back of the delivery van, so that a whole truck may end up in the U.S. with our door on it.
Gotcha.
And that's, but we've seen the impact of tariffs. Really, like we were buying some material, and it came as 25% increase on the cost of some materials with steel. And we had one today. It's the job we shipped down, and there was we got the tariff bill from the brokerage firm, and our guys didn't put it on their invoice to the end user. So you, yeah. So you got to. So it's just a. So that to answer your question, about 25% are U.S. direct sales. The other ones are going through a company attached to their truck going to the U.S.
Yeah.
The interesting one of our major companies is actually a Chinese door truck manufacturer of truck boxes. So the tariff on their stuff coming in is 140%.
Is it really? Not into Canada though, is it?
No, but if the way he's got set up is if you assemble something in Canada, it's got all these parts on it.
Yeah.
You have to track the country of origin.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay.
Country of origin, if it's over a certain percentage, you have to be over 87% Canadian country of origin to be duty free. So getting the weeds here, but the weeds are sticky and they're costly.
And they keep changing as well sometimes too, right?
Yeah, it's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah. I don't envy you. I'm really glad I don't have an operating company anymore, Stu.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is a challenge to stick with it. This is my last rodeo with this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, it'll end soon. It can't last forever because
no.
he's destroying the U.S. economy and all the respect the United States had in the world, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing for anybody.
Well, you come in and tear up the agreement that you created 4 years previous.
Yeah.
7 years previous is, it gives your country a black eye.
Not only that but you can't rely on any contract you sign with them.
That's what I mean. The credibility goes out the window.
Absolutely.
As a nation, which
Yeah.
is not what they want. They seem to accept it for some reason. I don't know how I don't understand how the media and those people let that thing slide.
Yeah. Medias have their own agendas as well a lot of times.
They seem to now. They seem to have an agenda.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone thinking of starting or growing their business, such as yours in Aurora, what would it be?
Stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a good idea and you've got a good product and you're in a market that's, viable,
Yeah.
you're going to have challenges and you're going to have economic changes or shocks that you don't see coming. There's those, and be prepared, things will come, but just stick with it. As a guy told me years ago, if you stay in the game long enough, the game will change.
Yeah.
So it'll change in your favor eventually.
Yeah, well, I read somewhere once, too, that it takes 7 years to become an overnight success.
Yes.
Everyone thinks you start something and all of a sudden you keep making money, but
Yes.
that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, after the long hours and the coming home late, you kind of go, why am I doing this? But it will change. There are rewards sometimes. They don't they're not even. It's
No.
uneven.
Yeah, there's different competitors that happen, different way it goes. Do you think that your type of business will prosper in Canada moving forward, or do you think that all this tariff stuff and everything is going to kill that industry?
No, it's not going to kill the industry. There's demographics are in our favor for the automation side, the conveyor company, Almac Industrial Systems. So just the demographics, and because they can't get people to work in a steel mill on Sunday afternoon, and the door company, there's trucking and last mile and all that stuff is always going to exist.
Yeah.
The advantage of the door is got a little more eco-friendly. It's lighter, tighter, and clean. Clean, light, and tight. That's what it is. So, yeah, we're fine. And I just went to, and I said I'm not supposed to worry. I just went to a conference, and AI is this big unknown. We're trying to embrace it and use it, and I'm old, so not old, but I'm not a young guy. So I find it kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We used it this week on some products, and we're doing calculations with it. But the robots that are coming out are just, I suggest to anyone, if you want to see something fascinating, go on Boston Dynamics
Oh, yes.
website and look at every 6 months now, they're just getting more and more. And you can go on BMW website and they see the factory automation using robots in the factory. So that's going to be a game changer. What it means for people and how they are deployed and make a living remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope our leaders can understand that and help us get through it.
But explain something to me that I don't understand, is that if we're looking at moving industries from China or from the Far East, if you want, back to the United States or Canada, because we want to bring the employment back, if everything is made by robots, what employment are we bringing back?
I really don't think employment was the issue, because we're fully employed, right?
Yeah.
I think they just want to have the value add and tax on the assembly, and it's perception too. Perception is reality.
Yeah.
Like we just so I'm not. If you lose the technology, I think there was a big loss, and that finding out the service industry doesn't really have the spin-offs that it should. They pay rent. Like how much we're turned to a rent economy for our Netflix and our computer programs and our phones and the rest of it. And I don't think that people realize, you and I remember, when we had our phone, was one in the house and it cost us $20 a month, and 4 people used it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And now you got 4 phones, and it costs $120 a month each, so you're spending $600 on your phone. So that's not going to groceries.
Plus, on top of that, you spend $1,000 to buy the phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of reality check for some people. But back to your original question, bringing stuff back over. I think, as I said before, manufacturing products makes wealth and spreads it out more evenly because you've got your local suppliers
Yeah.
bringing parts and making them to go into the factory that maybe robots doing it, but you've got all these people. And there's a higher level of
Expertise
to program those things and make those things work. And for us, make the automated equipment that goes along with the robotics is very important.
Yeah, and the thing too is freight companies. People don't realize that every time there's a shipment of goods coming into your factory, it has to be by a freight company. And that employs a person driving the truck, and it employs people maintaining these trucks and cleaning them and so on. So the employment is not always the sexy robotics that you have. It's the other support people that are all around that make it happen.
Yeah,
And, I look at this and I shake my head with everything that's happening because I can't figure out where it's going to go. Because initially, all this movement from, let's say, North America and Europe to the Far East to manufacture goods was so you'd have a higher return on your investment and the companies would make more money and the pension plans would have money in it to people going forward and everything. And now, with the tariffs on there, all of us are going to have to pay more for stuff, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Because instead of paying $1, you'll be paying $4 and your salary hasn't gone up.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. The tariff thing is just nonsensical. I think there was some people that didn't really understand what they were doing, and they're now in charge.
Yeah.
So that's not, and the bold-faced lie that everybody else had these tariffs against them. And the tariff wall, that the piece of Bristol board he put up at his Liberation Day,
Right?
the list of all those other countries that wasn't the tariff at all. That was the percentage of the inequity in the trade balance. It wasn't a tariff. I think it was 34% for the EU.
Yeah.
Well, there was no 34% tariff going. He just bold-faced lied.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
on that thing. So,
But not only that, when you look at Canada, what throws the numbers off is the fact that we virtually sell them our oil for close to nothing. So that affects, so it's not goods as much as it's the oil and the potash that they can't get anywhere else. So you can't penalize because we're giving you something that you can't find anywhere else or you can't make in your own country, which is what's happening.
well, I think they're waking up. They know that. The problem with these things, and this is, again, fault of the citizenship of the country or the citizens of the country and the media and our leaders didn't explain it well to people what it actually meant.
True.
Because the whole generation since 1999 when the North American Free Trade Agreement was enacted, which was a great thing.
Yes.
And they never dealt with tariffs. Whereas you and I, there was a manufacturing tax
Yeah.
back years
Export
ago.
tax and
Yeah.
depending on the commodity and different. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. It was just, there's always different. And the paperwork and the bureaucracy to run it was. So they didn't explain, well, this is not a tax against the country you're buying from. It's a tax that we're paying when you send it down there.
Yeah.
And on it, so Americans go, well, what do you mean I'm paying? I'm not supposed to pay this. The other country's supposed to pay that.
No,
it doesn't work
Charlie.
that way. That's right. Your T-shirt is now $50 when it was only 10 before.
Yeah. That's what you pay for.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how that does happen because you're starting to see it now. I was reading an article about soybeans, how the United States supplies enormous amount of soybeans to China, yet in the first quarter of this year, because of what was happening, China placed all the soybean orders with Brazil, and the farmers in the United States lost out on that. And they don't realize sometimes that there's alternate places to go for something. So if you start penalizing a country, they can react by doing other things, which becomes a lot more problematic for you.
Well, arrogance combined with ignorance is a dangerous combination.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's You know, there'll be books written about this time in history.
There'll be classes taught in universities and colleges on the Terra 4, the repeat of 19. What was it? The McKinley kept trying to copy this McKinley guy from the 1880s. It only lasted 4 years then, and they reversed them all as soon as they got in power, the next government. Yeah. It's a shame, though. This is the part that really, pisses me off, for lack of a better word, is these guys are playing games, so it's real people's lives on the other side.
Yes. Well, if you look at all these thousands of people being let go from the government, these are people that have families, they have mortgages, they have all these things that they have to look after, and it's cruel to be able to shut the door on all of them so quickly because they can't find work anyway because there's so many of them gone. And I think it's a bad way of doing it instead of doing it through attrition or other more humane ways of doing it.
But in our world right now, because there's so much uncertainty, the big people, and the car industry has been a roller coaster for the last few years through the EV coming on, all those things. They don't make decisions right now.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's frozen. So people are laying off right now. There's not enough work in a lot of companies because they're waiting for the big guys. They're not going to invest in the new plant and put the people to work to build these things. So there are real consequences.
Yes, there are. And it's a shame because there's no need for that, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, totally unnecessary.
Okay. Stewart, in closing, this is something I want to mention. It's really nothing to do with how good your business is. It's more to do with how good you are as a person. Wow. And you've given a lot to the Aurora community through organizations such as the Optimist Club, the Odd Fellows. You've designed, built, and donated a remembrance memorial located in Fleury Park here in Aurora for the bereaved families of York Region. Your support for many other needy organizations is commendable. On behalf of the citizens of Aurora, I thank you. I think you've done a lot of good things for this town, and I hope you stay and keep doing more good things. Because if you didn't, we'd miss you a lot.
Well, thank you for that, Vernon. You're one of the people that bring those things forward, and there's no better example of how to do that than you. So,
well, thank you.
I appreciate those kind words, but that's part of that's what makes Aurora good, and it's the people that's what makes a community.
Yes, and you know what? I don't think we talk about it as much as we should. As I was telling Sandy recently here, is that the underground community, if you want to call it that in Aurora, is a very kind, generous, caring community that does a lot of things for the citizens of Aurora that nobody knows about.
Right.
And that's on purpose because the people don't do it to get accolades or to get anything. They do it because of the sense of community they have. And I think that's one of the great things about this town.
I think one thing we should add to that, and I think is it's enjoyable. People you meet working for whatever club or organization you're with are generally people you want to hang around with.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so good, though, because... two beget four and four beget eight and so on. The breakfast groups that you belong to, it's people that have been together for many years, collaborate in a lot of areas, inform each other, help each other. I mean, that's a great way to live your life.
No, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to leave you go. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Vern.
Thank you, Stu.